Hey everybody, it's Miss Corey. I know it looks like I'm in the shadows today. Guess my camera is not working super well. So today we're going to do U1-L10 background to Argo, specifically the Iranian hostage crisis, which is what the movie Argo is about. Last time we talked about kind of the basics of Islam. Again, I just stick more to the historical facts of Islam. Also, why there is tension specifically between Western countries like the U.S. With Middle Eastern countries. So we talked about a lot with Israel and Palestine and the land dispute, especially because Jerusalem is such an important city to the three major Abrahamic religions. We also talked a little bit about the Camp David Accords. So today we're going to focus in a little bit more on Iran. So if you don't know where Iran is, it is right here. So it's one of the largest countries when it comes to the Middle East. All right, so today we're going to talk about coups a lot. So it's spelled C-O-U-P, but it's pronounced coup. And that is when a government gives resources and money to a group to overthrow a foreign country. Well, I'll tell you right now, the CIA is really good about doing that. The CIA is a central intelligence agency. They're also a major role in Argo. And it's the U.S. agency that specializes in intelligence and info gathered around the world. And another just quick little, it's not really a vocab word, but a good word to know is Shah. So the word Shah, it's like a king, except for in the Arab world. So, here, now I'm really in the shadows because my light just died. In 1951, the U.S. makes a coup against Iran. So the U.S. really wants to overthrow the Iranian premier, which is the leader. His name was Mohammad Mossadegh. So the U.S. kick out Mossadegh because Mossadegh wants all the Iranian oil fields to be under Iranian control. And the U.S. is like, oh, heck no, we want the oil. He only wants Iran to have influence over Iranian oil. So why do you think the U.S. is going to be mad about that? All right. There it goes. All right, so Iran is U.S. and Great Britain's main oil supplier. So without Western influence, the U.S. is super scared that the Soviets are going to take over Iran. So remember, this time is during the Cold War, and the U.S. is like so scared that the Soviets are going to take over the world. And Mossadegh threatens to become allies with the Soviet Union. Mossadegh's like, hey, U.S., if you don't back off, I will become friends with the Soviet Union. So in 1953, through bribery and control of the Iranian military, the U.S., Great Britain, and CIA make a coup. They overthrow Mossadegh and they put in a new Shah or king. His name is Mohammad Reza Pahlavi to be the ruler of Iran. And here is a picture of him. So yes, the U.S., Great Britain appointed a new leader, although it's not even their own country. So Shah Pahlavi gains full power of Iran. And as a thank you gift to the United States, they're like, here, U.S., have 40% of the Iranian oil fields, which makes the U.S., of course, very happy. And Iranians become really mad at the U.S. for taking their oil. They're like, hey, yo, U.S., this is our oil field. What are you doing? So there's an Islamic revolution, and that happens in 78 to 79. And the revolutionaries overthrow Shah Pahlavi, as you can see right here with his wife. And remember, the U.S. really backs Shah Pahlavi. They're the ones who put him in power anyway. So in 1979, Shah Pahlavi in the U.S. lost the rebellion. Shah Pahlavi he's kicked out. He's not killed. He's still alive, but he's kind of like a political prisoner. So he still like lives in Iran, but he's very closely monitored and he has no power anymore. And so with the U.S. and Shah Pahlavi losing, a new kind of government is formed in Iran. It's called Islamic Republic. And that is a type of government where the country is ruled by a very conservative Islamic faith laws. So here is the modern day leader of Iran. And back in 79, here is Ruhollah Khomeini, who became the new ruler of Iran. So Ex-Shah Pahlavi, so the one that the U.S. backed but then got kicked out, really needs a medical procedure. If I remember right, he had like stomach cancer or something. So Ex-Shah Pahlavi is brought to the U.S. in October of '79 under President Jimmy Carter's oversight. So the Islamic Republic is like, whoa, U.S., what are you doing? The ex-Shah Pahlavi is like our political prisoner. You just can't take him out of Iran. And the Islamic Republic is also super duper mad at the U.S. for the 1953 coup, which gave U.S. 40% of Iranian's oil fields. So a lot of high tension right there. So in November 4th in 1979, 3,000 Iranian revolutionaries attacked the U.S. embassy in the capital of Iran, which is called Tehran. And the revolutionaries took 52 U.S. embassy employees hostage, which is the main meat of the movie Argo. All right, so here is a video of the Iranian hostage crisis speech that Jimmy Carter gives. I'll skip it for now, but if you want to go back and watch it, you sure can, but it's not required. Skip, skip, skip. There we go. So in exchange for the hostages, Iran wants no more U.S. involvement in politics, the return of all the oil fields, and ex-Shah Pahlavi to stand trial. And the U.S. is like, nope, they refuse. So in kind of like a counter, the U.S. then puts a trade embargo on Iran. And here's a picture of one of the hostages. So this is one of the U.S. embassy workers right here. So in January of 1981, minutes after Ronald Reagan became president, all hostages were released. None of the hostages were killed. The only casualties that were in there were 8 servicemen. U.S. servicemen died in a rescue attempt back in 1980. So kind of like a spoiler, that's kind of how it ends. But there's so much more meat to Argo. You'll get a lot of thrills. It's a very thrilling movie. When I taught this technically it was earlier this year because I taught it in the spring semester. A lot of students loved this movie because it was on like the edge of your seat thriller kind of movie. Here's also a video. I'll skip it for now, but it's kind of cool. It is the moment that the hostages are coming out of the plane back onto U.S. soil. There we go. So here's question number 3 that I want you to answer on your study guide. Why did Iran take U.S. embassy workers hostage? All right, now here's question number 4 that I want you to answer in your study guide. So Argo is about the Iranian hostage crisis. In 2 complete sentences, predict what you think will happen in the movie, and how truthful do you think the movie will be to its history? So, Argo. It's one of those movies where, yeah, it's based on a true story. It's also very Hollywoodized. So it's based on this true story about the Iranian hostage crisis and the undercover attempt to free the hostages. Wikipedia has a whole giant section of the movie's inaccuracies. So if you're ever really curious about it, you can totally go check that out. It does portray the Iranian people incorrectly. So that's one of the big controversies in this movie, is it really, really like makes the Iranians portrayed as like this somewhat almost like dehumanizing way. But in reality, you have to remember, right? Like I said, I think I said this in last time's slideshow. A lot of the time, we're talking about like the governments themselves that are more of like what's causing the hostility, not the people. So that was one of the really, really big controversies to this movie is what one of the film reviewers calls deeply troubling portrayal of the Iranian people. So I just want to put that one out there. So the characters that you will see, so Ben Affleck, he plays the CIA agent Tony Mendez. Here's Tony back in the 70s, 80s. Here's more of a modern day. I think he died recently. There's also Bryan Cranston as the CIA deputy director, Jack O'Donnell. Here's a picture of him in the movie. Alan Arkin as Lessel Seeger, or Siegel. He was not actually a real person. This is one of the fictional characters that are put into the movies. So don't think this movie is like step by step, like everything is accurate of what happened. It's not. And then there's John Goodman as John Chambers. So that was actually a real person. They casted that guy like right on. I mean, come on, look at that. That's awesome. All right, so the other main characters is the six house guests. Those are the six people who escaped the embassy, and they were given fake Canadian passports to help with Mendez's plan. Once you watch the movie, it'll all start making more sense of who the six house guests are. Just know that they're U.S. embassy workers undercover. All right, so next up, you are going to watch U1-L10 Argo 0 through 30. Remember, I just split up into 30-minute chunks. Don't forget to fill out your study guide as you watch. Please, please do. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, or you want to learn more, email me or come to office hours. My office hours are on Mondays from 12 to 1. Just let me know if you have questions. I'm here to help you, okay? All right, enjoy Argo. I think this is one that really surprised students last semester of how they loved it. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. See ya.